Hey, John, how you doing? I'd like to call the Town of Hyde Park Board meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the acceptance of the meeting minutes of October 17th. We have motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
And also for November 1st.
Hmm?
It's also the meeting
From
in
November
November
1st,
1st.
there's 2 months.
Oh, also a meeting for November 1st. I didn't
This
see
might be a
that.
special meeting.
That was the special meeting. I had another motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. All right, public comments on resolutions only. We have any? Okay, John.
Thank you. I understand that you'll be covering the budget today, and there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention, and I don't know if they're already in the budget, and if not, if you think that they're worthwhile to consider, that you might consider tabling that motion. The first is, I recall earlier in the year, the town board decided to reject a grant that had come in for $1 million because there was a match that was required. And as you're writing grants now, and there might be matches that would be needed, it would be important to put those matches in the budget. Perhaps, I know I'm on a lot of nonprofit boards, and usually they go in as contingency or fund balance, with the idea then that you could draw on those so as not to have to turn away money that comes in because of the match. That was one comment that I wanted to make. The second is, I think it probably goes without saying, but it's always good to say it just in case. I think that everyone in Hyde Park would be interested in maintaining a good budget for the police department so that they can continue to do the work that they're doing in keeping this a very safe community. That we're listed on some sites as being one of the safest communities in the country, and I'd like to continue that, so I hope that there's an increase for the police. And it also goes without saying for the highway department, that we all know that the highway department, in order to pave roads, uses petroleum products. And the petroleum products are more expensive, and so you need more money for the highway department. You've got the staff. It would be silly to have the staff not be able to pave roads in the warm weather, not the weather that's coming up, but in the warm weather, so that there's enough money for them to do the work that they should be doing in making the town a better town. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. That's my cheat sheet. All right. I need a motion and a second to open the public hearing for the assessed rolls for the special improvement districts.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Donna, can you read the public hearing notice?
Please take notice that the Hyde Park Town Board will conduct a public hearing on the proposed assessment rolls that the town assessor of the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, has filed for the fiscal year 2022 for the properties within special improvement districts in the town of Hyde Park pursuant to Town Law Section 239. The public hearing will be held at the Town Hall located at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, at 6:05 p.m. on Monday, November 14th, 2022, to hear any objections which may be made to the proposed benefit assessment rolls for the following special improvement districts: Greenfield Sewer District, Pine Brook Lighting District, and Woodland Grange Drainage. Please note that no other special assessments will be considered. Copies of the proposed benefit assessment rolls have been filed in the office of the town clerk at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, and are available for inspection during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 till 4. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Hyde Park, dated November 1st, 2022, Hyde Park, New York, Donna McGrogan, Town Clerk.
Have you received any comments to date?
I have not.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Oh, you can't do that.
Does anyone have any comments tonight?
Oh, okay. Is there any comments out in the public? No. Anybody on the board?
Nothing.
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have a workshop with the town comptroller to discuss changes in the town's preliminary budget in preparation for the adoption of the final Town of Hyde Park budget for fiscal year 2023. John, you still here? Okay.
Jim?
You'll like this.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jim.
So appreciate the time to come after about almost a month and a half, 2 months of some serious budget work for the town, especially with a new board, a new controller's office, all working together. I want to commend my staff, Danielle, who's been so great during this whole process, all the department heads, everyone who we interacted with. We made it a team effort. There was a lot of input, a lot of questions. Everyone had a meeting. They all subjected their wishes and desires for their budgets to us, and we parsed it down and tried to make a budget that was one that gave everything to the departments as needed and necessary while still respecting the taxpayers' burden. So I thought it was a really great first year effort for all of us. And so I'm very kind of proud and very great about commending the supervisor, Supervisor Torjani, for presenting this and creating this budget that actually reduces the tax levy for the residents here while still providing all the services and needs of all the departments. So I sent out a couple of summary pages with the budget. The first one is just kind of like an overlay. It talks about the adopted budget summary, gives the listing of the overall general fund and the highway fund and what it cost, the comparison from the year before, and of course all of the districts that we are responsible for in our funding aspects, as in the sewer districts, the lighting districts, etc. And then of course the ones that we have the pass-through with, we handle all the fire districts and the library districts, taxation, but it's a clear net out pass-through. So that is what the differential is for the first page. The one that was more interesting, I think, is of course the second one, which is like the budget notes. I thought it was highlighting the major areas of our increases in expenditures and of course also our changes, or in this case, increases in some revenue. So of course our biggest cost unit for the town is its staffing, its employees. Also, our greatest asset is the people that work for us here, but they also have the highest cost for what our town budget pays for. Basically about 70% of the town budget goes to pay for our staffing. So there was an increase, unfortunately, not just for contractual increases for salaries and all the, workers' contracts, but also our health insurance was raised on the average of 8% across the board, and that would affect both our health insurance costs, but also our health insurance buyouts. So that was one that goes up to almost $275,000 increase. We have an increase in capital. We are planning on potentially buying 2 police cars to aid in the aging fleet that we have there. So that was a $100,000 increase there. Our increase in just contractual expenses is, we all know that with inflation and just the natural things that contracts go up each year. So that's about a $50,000. Great thing for the town is that we have paid off one of our substantial bonds, and so it helped to reduce our debt service by about $185,000. And unfortunately, we are anticipating an increase in our fuel and energy costs, so we're factoring that in at almost about $60,000 increase. So about almost $300,000 increase in expenditures for our major outlooks. On the other side, we have an increase, we think, in some local revenues. Government aid went up a little bit. We did not have to tap into our fund balance, so that was able to stay in for the use from the future. And our overall, we're looking at about a $340,000 increase in revenues. So again, the police department takes up about 33% of our budget, and this nice gentleman here was concerned about that. I'm happy to let him know that there's a $400,000 approximately increase in their budget. So our town safety will be maintained. Also, our highway department is about 29% of our budget. And again, your concerns there, we've increased their budget by about $150,000. So they'll be able to plow our roads and maintain things, and of course have hopefully some good paving, activity in the summer for us. In the end, our recreation department is our probably 3rd biggest department, and they're about 4.3% of our budget. And they've been able to do pretty much everything. We're going to buy a new mower this year and a few other things, and staffing. So all around, our debt has gone down. We only have $961,000 for debt payments next year, and it's about 8.5% of the town operating budget, but a decrease from 1.15 from last year. So we are going into a very stronger position fiscally. We have been able to, again, maintain all of the departmental needs and requests and wishes, and we've also been able to ultimately, according to our tax schedule, which is on, I think, page, 4 of the budget, is able to reduce it 4 cents, which might not seem that much, but it is a decrease in the tax for the town, while we have increased so much support to all of our departments. So in our first year, I'm very excited to say that, that was a great, achieving for us in all manners. And again, we were new and had to spend a lot of time investigating previous years' historical expenses, what has been done before us, and how we chart our course fiscally for the future. And so I am very, very, proud of everybody's support and also their participation in creating this really good and fiscally sound budget for 2023.
Thank you, Jim.
Excellent, Jim, thank you.
Good job. Any comment?
The only question or concern that I had was, Jim, is there any way that we could possibly try to reduce the benefit or for the employee end of it, for health insurance? Is there any other group or something out there? I know a lot of people in the health insurance get into these groups with the number of employees. Is there any strategic way we could team up with somebody else to try to reduce some of these costs? Because these numbers are, like I say, they're big numbers.
Yep, I mean, we use 2 major vendors, MVP, which almost everybody has, either on a private sector or here in the public sector. And we also have the New York Employee Benefit Program, NYSHIP. A lot of this is dictated by union contract. So we have a predominant amount of our employees who are able to negotiate what they want for their insurance, health insurance benefits. So we have, I think, highways coming up again soon, and the PBA, for the police. During that time, we can always ask them if they would consider doing something else, whether we go through a different insurance, or I should say,
Provider, that's what I was
insurance
thinking.
provider. Right now, we're NFP. We have other people out there, there's Marshall and Sterling. There are others that potentially could provide a little bit of a tweak, but I'm sure you know from
Yeah,
your
no, I
working,
know.
it's an ugly environment out there when it comes to health benefits. The costs are soaring, and, they say, Obamacare was a good thing for everyone, but the costs keep going, and we're kind of locked in, and we're dealing with what we have.
Gotcha.
So, but do we look at it? Absolutely. I think that, I know that the supervisor and I have talked about, shopping it out for next year. So we have a contract that goes with NFP for this year, and then we're done, and we can go out again to do something with somebody else, and we'll look into it. But I'll be honest, I do not think there's going to be that much cost savings, unfortunately. I mean, the health insurance buyout alone is a pretty substantial amount of some of the compensations. There's a lot of people that have spouses, significant others that have a really good insurance policy, and they get a nice buyout from us.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any
Yes.
questions?
Related to that, could you explain to me, in a couple places, well, the first one I opened up to is Controller's Office, the relationship between the health buyout and the medical insurance, in that the health buyout was all zeros for '23.
Can you just refer to what page you're on, and then so we can all look it up?
7?
7?
And the medical insurance is up. So is there a relationship between those two? That was one, and there was another place that the similar thing happened. Does the insurance go up with the buyout, or are they unrelated?
As I said earlier, yes, insurance buyout goes up with the increase in the medical insurance. So we went up 8%, so all buyouts throughout the town have gone up.
No, it says the buyout was 0, so that would be down.
I'm talking about for all this, but if you're talking about for my office?
Well, just because that's the one I pulled up, but because that's the one that came up first. I have it for another office, too.
Mm-hmm.
But so how does that, I mean, if the buyout is, how does that go? I mean, if the buyout is down, how does the,
Well, neither one of us are getting bought out. I'm not taking a buyout, and neither is my staff member, so
okay, so that would be then it just.
that's why it's 0. Someone before us, whether it was the comptroller or the previous senior clerk, got a buyout.
Okay. I have another concern, that the increase in salaries, there was one assistant was up 8%, and she's only been working with us since April. Another up 6, another up 21%, and another up
Do we have,
22.
I need a reference, Lynn. Where are we?
Okay, Danielle in whatever, I don't have the page.
Yeah.
In the controller's office, Caroline in the supervisor's office, and personnel, Heidi and Megan. They were up 21% and 22.5%.
Both of them passed an exam, which puts them into a new category. So that's a kind of county-designated salary situation. So Megan passed one exam, and so did Heidi. They have different positions now as titles, and so that's how it goes that way.
Okay.
Caroline, I think there was a 3% raise across the board for a lot of people that had a non-union contract, and so that's where some of the increases are for people's salaries.
But hers is 6.
Which ones?
Caroline?
Oh, okay,
And then
you have a problem with that?
Danielle was 8, and she's only been here since April. Is that the,
That's the increase due to the class, passing the class, got 98.
hers is?
Oh,
Danielle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's right.
she did.
yeah,
good,
I chose
So
not to
that
take
was an
a,
exam too?
yeah,
Yeah.
I chose not to take a raise and gave it to her.
Listen, I mean, I would be happy to give up my raise, but it's not worth much, but you could have it. Okay, what could we do about I mean, you can't answer this probably, but the police holiday pay is up 69.24%.
Yeah,
And overtime is up 68. I presume that's because they've had such a turnover. But how does the holiday pay go up that much? That's page 15.
Again, this was all negotiated by the previous administration. It's a locked-in contract that's, rates that are forced to be paid. I agree with you. Maybe the next time we sit down at the negotiation table, we can figure out ways to reduce costs in certain line items. But when this board came in, and when I came in January, we inherited a lot of decisions that were made prior to us that we are forced to continue with, including this gentleman who was concerned about the sidewalk project. I mean, things change over time, but, materials and inflation, et cetera, have made that project kind of infeasible. And then the same thing with our labor contracts. They were negotiated in a different time period, whether it made sense, 2 years ago, maybe, but, we are forced to continue them because we honor contracts, rule of law.
Well, if we have a police force in flux, meaning the amount of people working, how does the holiday pay go up so much? Is it because they also get overtime? I mean, that's a huge increase, 69%.
And some of that, from what I understand from Chief Benson, is that some of the younger guys don't want to work overtime or work different shifts, and the men who are older, who are at a higher pay rate, are taking these shifts. As this nice gentleman said, they're concerned about the safety of the town. Well, obviously, Chief Benson needs to put men on the streets, or officers on the street, women too, but it could be at somebody who's at a sergeant pay or some other higher level, and, that's what's going on. I mean, it's...
So it's an estimate of what they would expect will happen over the year.
Like right now, they're down 4
There's been some injuries.
We're down
Yeah,
right
we're
now,
down.
right?
Yeah, come December.
There he is.
we'll be down
How are you,
to
Lieutenant?
now 4 full-time positions for various
So
reasons.
that's what the overtime would be.
It
I mean,
creates overtime.
Yep.
right, but the holiday pay is, okay. Now, another one, I have the solar, I'm gonna ask you about this. The solar referral fee money
Mhm.
was $3,000 in 2021.
Mhm.
It was $10,000 in the preliminary budget. It was $10,000 for 2022, and this budget has it zeros. That budget was for the CSC, the Climate Smart Community, and to be, used by them, and they didn't spend it. So, where to go? Pardon?
Right.
Line item?
So,
01270,
Tell me what page you're on, Lynn, please.
page 3.
Yep.
It's 0127003, solar referral fees.
yes, it was 3,000 in 2021, and then it did not exist afterwards.
No, in this budget, preliminary,
Oh,
it's
I already know.
10,000 in
Mhm.
2022, 10,210 and 51 cents.
Okay.
And then in this budget, it disappeared.
As you may or may not be aware, and Richard and I have exchanged some emails about this, but work that he had done and the CAC had done to require certain monies were received or budgeted in 2021, et cetera, but were not put in the 2022 budget by the previous administration. And that, again, is before my time, nor do I understand why they didn't do that and honor the hard work that Richard had done. As for 2023, that will require a resolution to put some money back in those lines, which, is definitely a board, situation. The money exists in the kitty, in the town operating fund, all the money that was brought in, the 8,000 almost dollars that were budgeted at one point last year. So, those can always be put back into certain lines. That's not for me to do, as that's policy, not fiscal procedure. So it's nothing to do with my choices. I just create the budget that is, requested by departments and overview and decided by the board, and this creates our 2023 budget. So anything that used to exist in a previous time can be replaced, but, that's not by my unilateral decision.
I understand that, but
Yep.
if that were the case, but it was in the 2022 budget, because it says it right here, 10,210 and 51 cents.
In the 2022?
No, the columns are zero on the one.
Yeah,
on
I
the
was saying
got.
that you might say
That's
so.
what I said.
They don't,
So this budget, the
Well-
preliminary, that we have been using up till 3 o'clock this afternoon, had it in there, and the budget today has it out.
well, I can assure you that $10,000 is,
It's a lot for that group if that's all they
Um,
have, right?
I'm not saying that it isn't, but I don't have that in front of me, so I apologize, but,
It's page 3.
yeah, but I have the updated proposed budget. I don't have what you're looking at, so.
And again, the updated budget came at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you.
You did know that you could reach out during this whole multi-month process to ask for updates or anything else, right?
I was waiting for the budget to come out on Thursday, because that's when I was told, that's what I was led to
Okay,
believe it was
all
going to
right.
be out on Thursday.
We can nitpick all day, Lynn. Fine.
So I just want to go back for a second, because Lynn did mention Heidi and Megan's positions and that they passed the test, but last year, didn't Heidi have a much different job title?
She did.
She worked under Sandy Bruno. She
At some
basically
point,
was
before my
elevated.
time, but yes, but
Right.
she passed the test and now has a different title.
It's kind of change in job duties
Yes.
also.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Is that everything?
Any other questions for Jim? If not,
I have nothing further,
Thank you.
Jim. Thank you very much.
Sure.
No, Jim, you did a phenomenal job, and,
Yeah, budget.
and I gotta say, to be honest with you, there's a lot of moving parts to this, and it's pretty complex, and I know myself, been looking and looking and looking, and it's sometimes it's hard to digest, but overall, the gist of it is, as we go along, there's money in the fund itself, so that if we're short 1,000 or 2 or whatever, we can
Yes.
make provisions later on, because
Absolutely.
I'm not saying there is, but
Nope.
as we go down the road of whatever provisions we need to make, that's. what
Absolutely.
we're
We
gonna
have
to do.
50,000 in contingency in case there's a catastrophic event, a boiler goes, I don't know, a vehicle gets totaled or something that's not covered by insurance or something. We have $50,000 as a contingency. We have a very decent, shall we say, operating fund balance that could weather certain expenditures that are unforeseen. Yeah, but, we're in decent shape, given what we've been able to do for this year with all the inflation, the cost of goods, everything, all our expense lines have been stressed, especially in the fuel and utility cost lines, et cetera. So, yes, but we are able to weather any storm for certain things, whether it's to help Richard's fund or any other things that come along.
Very
Yep.
good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you so much.
okay. Nicole?
Resolution 1114-1 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept and adopt the benefit assessment rolls for 2022 for the special improvement districts within the Town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Will Councilwoman please take a roll call?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
Aye.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye. I'd like to make a correction, Town Clerk. Lynn?
Resolution 1114-2 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the revisions to the 2023 preliminary budget and adopt the final budget for the final fiscal year 2023 for the town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me.
Okay,
roll call?
I'm gonna do that. Will the town clerk please take a roll call?
Councilwoman Noakes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ruggiero.
No?
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilman Prusakowski.
Aye.
And Supervisor Torrigiani.
Aye.
Resolution 1114-3 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to solicit bids for 2023 highway materials for the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Roll call.
So carried.
Resolution 1114-4 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Clerk to solicit bids for the 2023 contractual services for the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 1114-5 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of the Town of Hyde Park Highway Department Motor Equipment Operator James Miller.
May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 1114-6 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the resignation of Rebecca Green as full-time police assistant for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 1114-7 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to appoint John D. Rispoli
Yes, sir.
as a part-time police officer for the Town of Hyde Park Police Department.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
That's a swear.
Okay, if you'd raise your right hand. I, John D. Rispoli,
I, John D. Rispoli,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of part-time police officer
of part-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You were so sworn. Congratulations.
Very much appreciate
Soon to be full.
All right.
All right?
Yes, go ahead for some pictures.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay.
You good? Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Camille?
Yes.
Resolution 1114-8 of 2022. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to acknowledge the retirement of Nancy Habanowski as the Deputy Tax Receiver for the Town of Hyde Park.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Town clerk?
Yeah, don't call
I
the roll
just-
call.
I just noticed that.
Leave that roll call
Okay.
off.
Any opposed? No. Sorry to see Nancy go, but she retired. She will be missed.
Resolution 1114-9 of 2022, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Supervisor to execute an extension request in conjunction with an amended contract for the Dutchess County 2021-2022 Municipal Investment Grant, or MIG, program funding for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation's Hackett Hill Park ADA accessible and inclusive design playground equipment and installation.
Yeah. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion and a second to enter an executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment of a particular person.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to come back from the executive session.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
No action was taken during this session? Okay. Where are we at now? New and old business? Does anybody have any new or old business?
I just wanted to make mention and announce that the annual tree lighting ceremony will be Sunday, December 4th, here at Town Hall. Preparations are underway, I guess, so, and there's information will be posted, I guess, to the rec website, Facebook page. But the annual tree lighting will be here on December 4th. It's always a fun time.
Any specific time?
Yeah, I'm
Is
sure.
that to be?
Well, at least you got a good answer. I asked her, do you know what happens at the tree lighting? She goes, yeah.
National Lampoons.
Yeah?
Right.
And I know that they are looking for volunteers for staffing it, so if there's anybody out there who's been to it, I think it's at 5. I don't know, because I always had to come early to help with the setting up, so. Don't know. It's definitely after dark. I think it was at 6, 5 or 6 o'clock, I don't know, dark time.
Al,
Santa will be here.
can you just give us an update on the progress over to Hackett Hill, since with the playground and stuff?
Oh, yeah, they're
Oh.
pretty much set. They're setting the, they did the rubberized underneath the base. They put the edging around. Now they're adding additional, which you noticed, additional layer of rubber up there. So it's going to need some off-grading. And I think they should be putting up at least, at a minimum, snow fence to protect people from going in there. And that's something I'm going to talk to Pete tomorrow about.
Yeah, because the playground, if anybody going by Hackett Hill, from the people out in the audience, the playground is constructed, but it's still under construction. And of course, it's not ready for use as of yet, but all the major components are up, and they're putting the finishing touches on it. So the supervisor will make an announcement when the playground is ready for use, but right at the present time, it is not ready for the kids to play on. It looks beautiful. I'm excited, and it came out very nice, and thank you, Supervisor, for all your hard work. Also, we just finally came up with a date for Ward 3 informational meeting that we're going to have at the Roosevelt Station Number 3 on December 15th at 6 PM. Caroline will be putting a notice out and on our website. This information meeting is basically for the people in Ward 3. We're going to discuss some flooding issues, some means and methods, how we're addressing some targeted areas of flooding, and we're going to get an update from numerous people of the progress that is being made on the Falk Hill Dam, and we're going to have guest speakers discussing some of our options for the future and where we're at. So basically, this is going to be, one more time, December 15th at 6 PM at the Roosevelt Company Number 3. That's the one on 9G. We're going to meet in their actual meeting room, and all are welcome as far as residents. It's just going to be an informational meeting. No decisions are going to be made, non-political. All are welcome. Thank you.
And Richard will be there.
And of course, our good friend Richard will be there. I would appreciate him coming. That'd be great.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Adjourn.